And then, but the prospects they acquired, I think they made a smart move, recognizing that it's time to start building a little bit more organizational depth with position players.
We talked about one Nick. I want to talk a little about the new Nick, the one that wasn't with the Red Sox. What was your first initial thoughts of the trade? And then what were your thoughts of Nick Yorke in general, getting to see him? He played 11 games with Pittsburgh, but what's your takeaways of Nick?
First off, great guy to talk to. I don't know if you guys have had the chance to interact with him. I really enjoyed having conversations with Nick Yorke and his family. Good people. But yeah, I like where their head was at. I mean, the deadline didn't work out for the Pirates well at all when you look at who they acquired. I mean, IKF didn't have the best offensive numbers in Pittsburgh. I mean, and Beeks and De La Cruz were absolutely terrible. And then, but the prospects they acquired, I think they made a smart move, recognizing that it's time to start building a little bit more organizational depth with position players. And, realizing that, hey, if we have a Nick Yorke and a Billy Cook who can be our 10 and 11 guys on the bench next year, that's money we don't have to spend in arbitration or on, a $1 to $3 million utility guy. We can put that toward everyday players. We can add that to our budget, I guess. So I like that from just that overall standpoint. And it helps to just clearly something's going wrong with the development from early on to the final stages, right? So why not get guys from organizations that have developed guys better, right? The Red Sox have developed better hitting than the Pirates. For, as scorned and scarred as Red Sox claim to be with their 5 World Series championships since 2004, they've had a better track record at developing guys who are productive major league players, right? And the Orioles, I mean, look at their development success in the last decade now. It's a reason to say, you know what? Yeah, you're not probably going to get, their top guys, but even their mid-tier guys are probably going to stand out a little bit more than our mid-tier guys. And it's just building depth in areas where you're trading your surplus of depth for depth in areas that you are kind of lacking in. So I like the move with Nick Yorke. I don't know if he'll ever be a full-time position guy. Like, I don't know if Nick Yorke will ever be able to say, right field's my spot, second base is my spot. But I think Nick Yorke can have a solid major league career. And again, you look at some of these teams that go far in the playoffs, it's not like you have a guy playing 150 games at every position anymore. Those days of baseball don't necessarily exist. You have 4 or 5 of them maybe in your roster, but then you have guys who might play 120 games at 3 different positions. And I think the Pirates are embracing the idea of having a surplus of those players. There's a whole bunch of, in their mind, I think 1 to 2 WAR guys who can play at 4 or 5 different spots in the field. So you can plug and play and have a lineup that even on your getaway day or your Sunday lineup where you're not trotting out 4 easy outs. You have at the very worst average hitters and proficient fielders. And that's what I think they saw in Yorke.
Yeah, him playing the outfield is relatively newer, I think.
Right.
Obviously played a lot of it at Portland. He really started more so last year. You look at, the Red Sox, they from infield prospect guys with Christian Campbell, obviously with Marcelo Meyer.
Yep.
There's a logjam. Chase Mydroth is there as well. So there's a logjam. So definitely made sense. But he was definitely, when he got to Worcester last year, it was almost like a something unlocked in him. It just was, he got out of, I think getting the promotion from Portland was huge. I think them getting him away from the top prospects for a little bit.
Yep.
It was a short period of time where I think they came up after he was traded. Yeah, because the Sox didn't move up Anthony and all those other guys till later on. But it definitely, he benefited from that. But, to your point, though, super nice kid to talk to. So definitely rooting for him. Hopefully flourishes out there in Pittsburgh and gets the opportunity to play every day or relatively every day.